to Dark Knight Films Reviews. I'm your host, Matt Spease, and today we are looking at Top Gun Maverick, released in 2022. Top Gun Maverick is the long-awaited sequel to Top Gun, released in 1986. So it's been a long time since the original. Top Gun Maverick stars Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer, Glen Powell, Miles Teller, Monica Barbaro, Ed Harris, and Jennifer Connelly. It is, I didn't know what to think of this film. I knew I wanted it to be good because I love Top Gun. But it turned out better than I ever could have hoped it would have been. Tom Cruise is amazing in this. I think this film is like this is his best acting performance in a film since Rain Man, easily, I think. Most of his other films are, action, like as Ethan Hunt in the Mission Impossible movies, and even Jack Reacher, in the Jack Reacher films and stuff. So he doesn't, he's not, showing a lot of acting. He can act, I know he can, but I mean, in this film, he showed a lot of acting that, he normally you haven't seen him do in a while. I mean, he was great in this. And it helped that the character of Maverick was already established, and he'd already went through his trials. So he, in the first film, he started off a complete kind of an ass. And by the end of that film, I mean, he grew as a character and became a decent guy, Only took the death of his friend, Goose, for him to finally, become a decent human being. But he was different than he was at the beginning. At the beginning of the original Top Gun, he wasn't, he was always in trouble, he's still in trouble in this one, but I mean, he's in trouble for trying to do the right things, and not just be a horse's ass like he was in the first film. But yeah, his overall performance in this is just great. I mean, the range of emotions that he puts into this film, with the scenes with Goose's son, Rooster, played by Miles Teller. Miles Teller gives a really good performance too in there, and they work well off of each other with the tension that they have to do as characters, acting with each other. So they do really well in there. It was nice, the opening with. But before his scene, I mean, there was a scene with Ed Harris, but before that scene, there was this opening sequence that it was the cinematography and the editing on this sequence was just, it was so good. I mean, you would swear you were just watching a recap of the same footage that you watched from the opening of the original Top Gun, but it wasn't. It's new footage, but they put it together in such a way that it looks so good. It looks like a completely new version of that footage from the original film. It's just a great job there by the cinematographer shooting those scenes and the editor putting it together the way they did. I mean, they did a great job there. Director Joseph Kosinski does an excellent job throughout this film. directing this thing. I mean, I hate to say it, but he outdoes original director Tony Scott on the original Top Gun, because the original Top Gun didn't have much as far as a story, a big plot. It was just the pilots, these young pilots being trained to try and become the best pilots in the world. This film, we are introduced to a bunch of pilots that are already the best pilots in the world.
Everyone here is the best there is. Who the hell are they going to get to teach us?
They are the best pilots, and they are being recruited into this Top Gun Academy to be trained for a mission, not to be just trained to be pilots. So the mission is a dangerous mission, and they already say that, at the beginning of it, that, it's so dangerous that, some of you might not come back. So the stakes are a lot more higher in this one than they were in the other one, because, I mean, it was just, these pilots are, trying to, yes, Goose does die, but that's a freak accident that happened in the plane while ejecting. But Miles Teller and Tom Cruise are great together in their sequences, as I said before. And the sequence after the opening, when you meet Ed Harris in his scene that he's in, well, he's actually in several scenes, but it's early in the film.
You should be at least a 2-star Admiral by now. Yet here you are. Captain. Why is that?
It's one of life's mysteries, sir.
The end is inevitable, Maverick. Your kind is headed for extinction.
Maybe so, sir. But not today.
Ed Harris is great as usual. I mean, the man is so entertaining, and so good at delivering his lines. He could read from a phone book and he'd make it interesting. That's how good Ed Harris is. So, yeah, he was great in the scenes at the beginning, playing this Admiral character. And he sets everything up with Maverick being sent back to Top Gun to train these badass pilots to do this mission. Jon Hamm is great, playing the main officer in charge at the academy where they're being trained and everything. He's staunch and stout with his portrayal, and it's funny because you can tell that all of the actors are fans of the original film, so they are really wanting to make this and do the original film justice. They're not just there for a paycheck. So the other character, Monica Barbaro, plays in there. It's named Phoenix. It's a female pilot amongst all these guy pilots. And yet, unlike a lot of these movies that try to, use this political crap and make, and make it all about, the women have to overcome, and the guys, treat the woman different and everything. No. There's none of that in this. Thankfully. She is treated as an equal alongside the rest of the pilots, because she is a great pilot alongside of all these other great pilots. Like I said, these are not students in this film. So her character is totally respected amongst the guys. They never once look at her and go, like some of these films would do, and try and, you don't belong here. You're a girl, That never happens. She is fully respected. So her character of Phoenix is really interesting, and it's cool to see a female getting to play that kind of a character in the film. So she was great in all of her scenes that she was in as well. And then Glen Powell playing Hangman is a revelation. That guy, I hope to see him in more stuff, because I mean, he was so good in this film. His character of Hangman is very much, he's got the attitude of Maverick in the first film, but he's got the look and style of Iceman. So he's got the two halves of these two awesome characters from the first, and he just plays it so good. He reminds me more of Iceman, but his attitude is more of Maverick, and he is just great. Glen Powell is awesome in this movie. And speaking of Iceman, Val Kilmer is back, reprising his role in the film. I was frightened going into this film of what to expect from him, because I did watch his, because I'm a huge fan of Val Kilmer, and I did watch his little documentary that he did for Amazon Prime called Val. And I hated seeing one of my heroes having to go through the things that he went through the throat cancer and having the surgery that took away his voice. He's got to talk with a voice box, so it's hard to understand what he says, and it's just hard to see your heroes. Because I mean, I love both Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise, but I think I favor Val more, because I mean, Val Kilmer, I was a huge fan of Val Kilmer even before Top Gun. I watched him in Top Secret. I loved him in that as Nick Rivers. He was just awesome. He was so perfect. Playing this Elvis wannabe character, is just great. And it was just fun. And then Real Genius, the same thing. He was he's the goofball, and he just seemed to enjoy what he's doing in there. And then he plays Iceman in Top Gun, and that put him on a different frame of acting wise. That put him out there, and I've loved him after that since then in films like The Doors, Tombstone, it's Doc Holliday, Batman, of course, playing Bruce Wayne in Batman Forever. He playing the character he played in Heat. I mean, I love Val Kilmer. He's just such an awesome actor. So it was hard for me, and I was scared that when I saw him in there, it was going to reflect the version of him that was in that documentary. Having to use the voice box to talk, which is just so sad to watch him do that. I love his fight. I love that he is continuing his act. He's not giving up. After he's lost his voice and he's got this voice box, he's not giving up. He's not giving up. I love it. I love his fight. I love Val's fight. But I was afraid when he was in this movie that he would, sound like that. But they ended up using some new technology to make his audio, him be able to talk. They replicated his actual speech through audio and everything through this software to bring back his dialogue. and everything, his voice, and he's great in his role in here. Spoiler alert here, it is sad later on what happens with Iceman, and I kind of, that's the only thing, I kind of look at the thing kind of negatively about this film, is that they did that with him. I don't think it was really necessary, but I guess Iceman is portrayed as always being there for Maverick, and when Maverick gets in trouble, he's always there to get him out of it, and and get him on to another assignment or something else to do, and this time he's not there. So Maverick has to do it, fend for himself and do it himself. So I can see that in a story standpoint, doing it like that. It was hard to watch that, and see that happen to this beloved character, and I love the actor. So, the other character in the film that a lot of reviewers, I've saw that a lot of other reviewers have talked about her, and that's Jennifer Connelly's character of Penny Benjamin. And they say she has no place in this film. Well, she does. She does have a place in this film. She was actually mentioned in the original film. Maverick was with her character way back. They mentioned it. The fighter pilot scenes and stuff that were in there, they were great, because they're really, it helps having the actors actually in the cockpit, and you're not looking at green screen around them, and them just putting a backdrop behind them. They're actually in the sky flying around and everything. It's just, it's exhilarating watching, and you feel what they're feeling when you're watching these scenes in the planes and everything. It's just, the film was better than the first Top Gun. Big props to Kosinski and Cruise on this one, because they outdid Tony Scott in the original film. The romantic relationship with Cruise and or Maverick and Penny, Jennifer Connelly's character was sweet, and it was cool, and it worked for me. Like I said, I know that she's a legacy character already. She wasn't in it, but she was mentioned, so we knew she was there. So it's not like she's just coming out of nowhere and we never even heard about this character before. So you reviewers that said that she didn't exist, that she had no reason to be here because she's not a part of the thing, she was. She was. Go back and watch the original movie. Penny Benjamin was name-checked in there, in a scene, specifically between Goose and Maverick. So, I love this film. I think this film is one of the best films of this year, easily. And I'm really happy to see that it is, having the success that it's having. Hell, it has broken a lot of records already, and it's amazing. I love it. So I'm really happy for Cruise that this film has been a success, because Paramount was wanting to just take it like they did with Eddie Murphy's Coming to America, because this film was shot 2019, and I think it finished around 2020, and they were just ready to just drop it on streaming services and stuff. But Cruise was like, no, because they did it with Eddie Murphy's Coming to America sequel. So Paramount did. So, but Cruise stood his ground. And thankfully he did, and I know Paramount's probably thanking him now too for their he saved them from losing a lot of money there, because they would have never made the money that they made this time. So I mean, Cruise's first film to make it over $1 billion worldwide. That is huge. The film in its second and third week has had the shortest drop off from box office. I mean, it is doing phenomenal numbers. Hell, against Elvis, which came out, it went neck and neck with Elvis. And that's in its fifth week. It was in its fifth week, and Elvis was in his first week. And it went neck and neck with it. They were like, one's number one, one's number two. And then all of a sudden the other one took the, finally Elvis got the top spot, I guess. But, but it had to fight. So my rating for Top Gun Maverick is 9.5 out of 10. This movie is amazing. I think the only reason it's got the 9.5 is because of the Iceman thing. That was the only thing that brings this thing down. But otherwise, it is absolutely a perfect film. The best sequel that you could ever want from a film that old, all the way back to 1986. This is how you do it, people. Take note. If you want to make a sequel to something from way back, take notes. This is how it's done. Don't throw in all sorts of modern crap or do your legacy characters in a way that disrespects them, like the Star Wars sequel trilogy did. I've already ranted about that, so I'm not going to do that anymore. But I love this film. If you have not seen it, go see it now. It is amazing. You will not regret it. So I hope you have enjoyed my review of Top Gun Maverick. If you like this review, please like, share, subscribe. And if you want to see me do any more reviews or anything, comment down below. Let me know what you want to see. If you'd like to see me review anything in particular or anything, So I'm really enjoying spreading it out and doing more than just horror. So looking forward to my next review. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'll see you then. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you then.